What is going on, everybody? My name is Chris Chan, the founder and CEO of Active Age Daytime Senior Care. And today we're going to be talking about how do you build a $1 million adult daycare business. And a very key component to that is something that you have control over, but you may have never thought about it in this depth, because when you think about scaling a business or growing a business, at the end of the day, you just need more customers. And the best way to get more customers is to spend money advertising. But before you go out and spend money advertising, you need to understand, what should you spend to advertise? How much does it cost to acquire a customer? And then how much will a customer spend with you over their lifetime with you as a customer? So today we're talking about the customer acquisition cost and then the lifetime value of that customer. And so if you think about it in this way, when you think about growing and scaling your business, it's just a numbers game. Put this much money in, this much money comes out. So it's very important that you think about these things. And so first, every person is going to be a little bit different, but one of the things when we talk about the lifetime value of a customer, there's three things that we want to analyze. That is, how much does that customer spend with us per month? So typically in the adult daycare world, you're going to have your customers spending a certain amount of money on average on a monthly basis for a certain period of time that they use your services. So, for instance, so the amount, right? And then the length of time. And then the other important key to this is, what are your profit margins? Is it 10%? Is it 15%? Is it 20%? The other thing, the third variable would be the margin. So these three things will come up with what that lifetime value of a customer is. So let's go through it real quick. So for instance, for simple math purposes, say that client or that member, the participant spends $1,000 per month, okay? And then say on average, that participant spends 18 months with you. And then, the math on that would be $18,000 is how much that client is gonna be spending with you. And if you do the math on the 18,000, say you had a margin of say 20%, right? So $3,600. So essentially, this is what you would net right there. That would be like what you would net on that client over the course of the 18 months. If you had a 20% margin, okay, and the average person spent $1,000 per month and the average person stayed 18 months, you would collect $18,000 in gross revenue from that client, and you would net $3,600 from that client. Now, if your margin was say 10%, you would only net $1,800 from that client over the course of that 18-month period. So it's important that you understand your numbers, like what is your average length of time, what is the average customer spend, and what are your margins. Once you know those things, you'll be able to settle on what the customer lifetime value is. And then when we look at the customer acquisition cost, you'll know, does it make sense for me to be spending this much money? And then if so, what is my return on that investment? How much money do I need to put in here to grow my customer base over here, to acquire new customers? Okay, so that being said, on the customer acquisition cost, this is a simple formula. Basically, it's made up of really just two things. One is the money side of it, the cost of the advertising, and the other one is the number of customers. Okay. Now, I know that sometimes this is hard to gauge, which is why it is so important that you track it. You ask every customer that comes into, anytime that someone comes into a tour or anytime that someone calls, you want to be asking how they heard about you. But the real important measurement is going to be those members that are inquiring that actually become a paying customer. What is the number of customers that you are generating off of that advertisement? It's going to be much easier to gauge that on an online advertising campaign than it might be a newspaper or something, an article or something like that. So the hard part is there are certain variables, and this is why it is important to track them, because if you can nail and pinpoint where that lead came from, it's going to be much easier for you to figure out, where should I be spending my dollars. So that being said, say I spent like $500 on Google, okay? And out of that $500, maybe I acquired 2 customers, okay? So how much does it cost to acquire one customer on Google? If this is your average spend per month, and this is the average number of customers acquired per month, specifically on like a Google or an internet search campaign, what is that average cost to customer? That customer acquisition cost in this case would be $250 to acquire that customer. So 250 bucks per customer, okay? This might seem high, you know, it's gonna depend. This could be 5. Say $500 produces 5 customers. Those 5 customers then cost $100 per customer, okay? You see how the math works? So this is why it's important to be able to measure these items in your business. In every location, every business is gonna be different. You know, are you primarily catering to the Medicaid population? Are you catering to private pay? How do you bill? You know, all of the variables here are gonna be totally different. You know, the cost of advertising on Google in a different area might be more or less expensive depending on where you're at, depending on the demand for some of those keywords. So that being said, in a scenario like this, it would cost us $250 to acquire a customer. On that customer, we would net $3,600. That is a great rate of return, okay? If you know this formula, if you know this math, it makes it so easy to spend your excess cash and any reserves you have on advertising, because you know if I put in $250 times however many times I want to advertise in that medium, I'm gonna get an X return on that investment. If I put in, if I put in 250 bucks, I'm gonna get out 3,600. That's a great return. So now this should give you the confidence that you need to then go and bet bigger on advertising, because the only way to scale and grow your business is for more people to be aware that you're there. You need more people to know who you are, to know that you're there, and to know what services you provide. And this is more important than ever in adult daycare today, because we are facing all sorts of issues with COVID and people being concerned. But the reality is there's so many people that want their loved one to have socialization. They want their loved one to have friendships. They want their loved ones, to be, out and amongst others again. And their loved ones want to be too. So the reality of it is there is not a better time to pour fuel on this flame and ignite that fire to scale and grow your business, to reach the point where you're crossing the $1 million a year threshold. So focusing in on customer acquisition cost, understanding your lifetime value of your customer. This is just a simple math formula. Put this in, you get that out. It's a great return. Most people underestimate the power of reinvesting in their business through advertising and marketing. So I hope you guys learned something on this one. Make sure that you do your homework. These numbers only work if the information that you're putting into the formula makes sense. So make sure that you understand your numbers. You have a way to track your numbers. You have a way to actually have real information, factual information that you can make this decision off of. So I hope this was helpful. I look forward to helping you grow your adult daycare business or start your own. Make sure you reach out for more information. You can go to chrischanna.com to learn more. And there's a ton of different things on our page that we can help you with. But we love the adult daycare space and we love helping the senior care entrepreneur. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like to learn how to open your own adult daycare center, go to adcpro.com. If you'd like the latest business tips, click here, and make sure you subscribe to our channel, click here. We'll see you guys next time.